Good morning, everybody. Reading your comments is always fun in the morning. Well, I get a kick out of this one. It's unfortunate and it's sad for your family. Said my mother-in-law won't even talk to me anymore. She deleted me from Facebook. Won't accept any phone calls because I, chose the DJ guy. Boy, isn't it sad? We even to avoid algorithms. I'm talking like that. Just something like. Now that you're being proved right more and more each day, it's just going to make it worse. She's really going to avoid the phone calls and stuff because she doesn't want to hear the I told you so. Trump derangement syndrome is real. I mean, these folks are just willing to cut out their families over something like that. Absolutely and utterly nuts. And you guys are the crazy ones. Hello, Sissy J. Hello, Mr. Happy. Hello, T. Steppen Network in Utah. Hello, Charlotte Wood. Scat Pack MS. That's Bozo the Clown. That's who's in charge. It is. It really is sad. I mean, think about that. Hey, Busy Biz's birthday. Let me make certain I put that one down. Also, a tough one. And I don't think we're actually going to have her on. Kukla's mother's, her birthday would have been today as well. So that'll be a tough one for her. So prayers of comfort headed her direction. Hello, Peg. Hello, Boho Cheesehead in Montgomery County, Texas. Hello, Jay. What's up, Hud Gumby? Cass's birthday is tomorrow. Cass, it's a good thing for you. I'm going to be here tomorrow. So let me go ahead and put it down just in case you're not. So I'm prepared so you can go back and listen to it. Jay Boyles, I'm new to this and want to buy some dinar. Can you tell me the difference between the newer and older notes? Stick to anything post-Kuwait, or I should say post taking Saddam Hussein off of them. I'm told they're all good, but I do have a number of paymasters, whatever, said the preference is the ones that are post-Saddam Hussein. So post-liberation of Iraq. I believe this is the year we give thanks. Well, we should always give thanks, but you know what I'm pushing at. Their hatred for Trump overseas. Makita, I do get a kick out of this one because you travel abroad and they wanted to paint everybody hating Trump, and you would go abroad and talk to people. He was not nearly as demonized, vilified, hated, disliked abroad as the press in the U.S. made it sound. You travel abroad, you'd ask him, oh, no, I don't blame him. He's standing up. It's when foreign dignitaries go to different countries, they'll be waving Trump flags or calling for him out there in the Philippines and Spain, all over the world. But they would like to convince you that oh my God, the whole world hates them. We're an embarrassment to the world. We got to fix that. And the reality is everybody thinks we are a laughing stock with our current administration. He has even been the butt of parade floats. Misty Hawk's birthday tomorrow as well. I get a kick out, though. Anyways, we can't talk too much. Hello, Lauren. No surprise there. Oh, I like this one. Yeah, you can measure the worth of a man by the nature of his enemies. Sandy, I like that one. All right, where's the hat? The hat hasn't come out yet. Not ready for it. Got to give everybody a chance to get in here this morning. What's up, Bigly Huge? And a lot of people are still scrambling, trying to find us. That'll make for interesting. That will make for interesting. Mark Riggles, good morning. Thank you. All right, let's do this thing. Yeah, I think everybody's been hypnotized. They all have the same emphasis. I mean, they are literally trying to hypnotize us and brainwash us. So Yeah, could be some could be some sense to that one. Do I live in a forest? You're looking at a lot of oak trees around the house, guys. Lots of oak trees around the house. I kind of do live in like the edge of the forest. All right, let's do this one. Jill says can't get on Rumble. Rumble is showing me as up and running, but I haven't got. Actually, that is a good thing to do. Before I do this, let me get Rumble up so I can see. First, I'm going to try it live just in hopes I was popping up in the live. That makes no sense. I should be popping up there. All right. Let's see if I can find me on here so I can keep you guys in the background and actually answer some questions. Let's see. Nope. Let's see. It's not popping up in live. Let me try changing. That's one thing that Rumble really needs to do is fix their search engine. It takes suck to like this epic level. Ooh, I know a way to do it. Let's see. I should be able to go this route and just click on it. No. Found a go around. I'm going to have to start like posting the link for it. I think that may be the only way to get this thing to work properly. So what I'm going to do for those that want to go over there and catch it, the way to get this. All right. Meme01, thank you very much. Thank you very much. A number of folks watching presently over there. So let me now bounce back over here. I can drop it in for those that want to check it out on Rumble. There is the link. All right, now we'll put the hat on. Bop on down here. It's still in the background. Very much a nothing burger in news since last night. We're still looking squarely with the Iraqi government anywhere between now and the 20th for either our new rate or near. They're still planning on seeing their government the 20th. Redemption folks are still being told, even as of today, this morning, that they are working the weekend. I don't know what they're going to be doing. I hope they'll be taking appointments or possibly seeing us, but they are still being told they are working. I would be very curious if any of you guys have heard an update from any of the Texas redemption centers as to whether they're working or not working. I think that would give us a big clue. I just don't have any contacts in that area on that one. That's really it. As expected, there has not been a whole lot of news this week or since yesterday. We did have a lot last night and shared, including articles from Iraq. Now I'm trying to find you all again. Dave, they do not work every weekend. I think they worked 2 weekends in the past 6 months. They've been on call a lot of weekends, but they've not actually gone to work. One Parade said Mike Penny last night said the RV has started. Oh, I absolutely believe it started, which just hasn't trickled to us yet. All right. Hello, Lee Shell. Thank you for that super sticker. Natter from the Meese just put up a new video on YouTube. Manny, has anybody watched it yet? Tell me what Nader said. I would be curious. I would be more than a little curious. He is one of the only ones that I'll actually watch, that I'll actually take the time out of my day and watch. All right. Let's get things ready for Mr. C. We're going to touch on world news. I'm going to go much easier on world news so we spend more time for... Oh, Mr. C probably can't find us. I didn't think about that one. Hold on here, guys. Let me make certain Mr. C knows where to find us this morning. Oh, I don't want that.
If I'm trying to make money...
I am doing a little back house here stuff here. You guys read this one while I am finding Mr. C. All right. Now I'm ready. Little housekeeping. Now I'm ready for it. All right. Your nickel is now worth about 11 and a half, 12 cents as nickel and 3.5 cents as copper. I am curious to see at what point they start melting down the coins. As they start melting them down. Abbas, don't waste your time asking Mr. C questions yet. He can't see them and we will lose them before he is here. Don't waste your time asking him till he is on. It'll save you guys a lot of headache and frustration because you don't feel like he's answering it. Let's keep going. Facebook allows war posts urging violence against Russian invaders. Why in the world would I take my time to post that one? Because it's hate. Hate is absolutely allowed as long as it is acceptable hate, meaning you hate who they hate. You're only allowed to hate or dislike based on the approved narrative. You're not allowed to hate anybody else. We do have some very big things happening today. You have Russia being removed from the SWIFT system, which will most likely, the unintended consequence, or perhaps the intended consequence, will be the death of the petrodollar. Absolutely going to die as Russia is removed from the SWIFT. They will be buying and selling oil around the world without the U.S. dollar. A substantial portion of the market will no longer be using the U.S. dollar. That's going to be the death of the petrodollar. So that was going to be a huge change. Also today, Russia and China is presenting intelligence. They are presenting their proof of U.S.-funded biolabs in Ukraine to a UN committee today. That is actually going on, started about 12 minutes ago. So that is also a big part of your world news today. Today could be a day that turns the world on its ears. Matter of fact, let me put this up. If I can find it, let's move that one. UKR report, Kremlin, Friday evening will be beautiful for the whole world. Perhaps that is what they are referring to. Hate's acceptable as long as you hate who they tell you you're allowed to hate. This one, I had some folks worried that they can continue to pump money in and support the markets. That is a temporary thing at best, as the can just gets bigger every time they do, forces the collapse to be much bigger and more severe and makes it more than inevitable. I mean, it's written in stone as they continue to pile it on. It has nowhere to go but over. Think of it as building a house of cards, and you continue to add story after story after story. It's the proverbial Tower of Babel for the economy. PIMCO is set to lose billions in Russia if Russia defaults on foreign debt. So they remove them from the SWIFT system. And I know this is going to break your hearts, guys. Do you know who has billions and billions and billions in assets that they are about to lose today in Russia? BlackRock, who is one of the biggest parts of our stock market. BlackRock. Larry Fink right now is crapping his britches. When you talk about folks like that losing billions of dollars, presidents aren't safe. World leaders aren't safe. You start going after their dollars and something will go seriously sideways. Watch this one play out. This is interesting. The administration has pitted itself on the side of globalism, but now they've gone against their handlers. So this is going to be interesting to watch play out. All right, Biden's crypto executive order weighs climate change, ponders the digital dollar. More news on that one. Yesterday, they're worried about, I get a kick out of this one. They're worried that they maybe have a global impact because of mining or proof of stake uses computer and electricity. But as you move to a central bank digital currency like that, you don't need regular banks. So you no longer have the teller driving to the bank. You no longer have the bank's computers running. It will actually save electricity and effects on the global environment. So it was interesting to me to see how they're trying to pitch this one. So they've got to check out the possible impact Of course, I don't think all the tellers at the banks are going to be happy about being unemployed. I don't think the mid-level bank manager, I don't think the branch manager, going to be a plethora of you guys job hunting. If you work in a bank as we move towards a central bank digital currency, it is going to collapse that business model. Hello, Mr. C.
Good morning, Mark.
How are you this morning? Okay, we can't say anything that involves what happens every 4 years in November to find a new person to sit in D.C. That got me moved off my regular channel. So that is we don't mention that. We don't mention lollipops.
All right, very good.
How are you this morning?
A little tired, but okay, ready to roll. A lot of things are happening. I would like it first off to say thank you to Walter and to Lyman. Thank you both. I do appreciate your help very much. Thank you.
Yeah, it's that people like that continue to amaze me when the world throws them so many curves and they still stand up and help others and put others ahead of themselves. It lets you know that there is still hope for humanity.
Absolutely. I don't have anything specific to refer to this morning, so go for it.
All right. A lot of folks. Well, one, we're going to have to ask the normal ones. Are you feeling close? Are you feeling good? Just your level of excitement over the possibilities. That's the first question we always have to ask. And then we have to ask you if you've heard anything on CMKX or prosperity packages. Those are the must-do questions. I need to just start having them on a screen so I can show that I asked them.
Okay. Well, due to the massive propaganda, obviously we're getting close. But I do not see anything dramatic happening with release of the codes until after Putin is finished cleaning up the mess in Ukraine. That's a absolute necessary item to clean that up and make sure that the rats have no access to money laundering or to any kind of a release to a biochemical warfare or nuclear. So I just don't see that happening. With regard to CMPX, I've heard nothing, and I'm not going to until they actually show up. So, no.
All right. Hopefully nobody's jumping off the edge of a bridge as you speak. I'm trying to get current. I'm trying to do some work in the background, but I can't find where one of my mods that needs a wrench has posted. She has to post for me to be able to give her a wrench. So, unredacted. When you post, I'll be able to wrench you. Until then, I can't do a thing. I can't find you. Let's see, Mr. C, how can we make sure this money going on the QFS account and not the SWIFT system? There's so much disinformation running around. A lot of folks concerned that they are just feeding the rats.
I find it difficult to understand what they're talking about. We are currently on the SWIFT system, and when Russia and China both are off the system, they will be on a gold-backed system by themselves. It has no impact whatever on us going to the new QFS system. They are individual countries, and they can go on the gold-backed system themselves. That's not QFS. It's just them individually, which they're allowed to do, obviously. They can make their own currency. With regard to going to the QFS, when they come see me with the codes, then we go to QFS. Until that time, there is no way the QFS will be implemented, period. Because fiat and QFS cannot exist together, period. And that's according to the QFS formula themselves, which is available on the internet. If you need to find where it is, just look up QFS. Safety of money. On the SWIFT side, it's a touch and go. Right now, they can do anything they want because the Fed Reserve / Treasury basically can do whatever they want, given the fact that if legislation is passed, like this last bill that was passed last night by the Senate, we don't know what's in it. It's 2,700 pages, 2,500 pages. Nobody's read it except for the rats. They give it to Biden. We don't know what's in it. It could be anything.
We do know that we spent $1.5 billion for border security for other nations, but not ours. And we gave Congress a 21% raise.
But this is 13.6 billion, I believe,
exactly.
going to Ukraine, which means it could go anywhere for any reason. I mean,
wait. Are you saying it could be going to a politician's son that works there, or
absolutely,
that?
Absolutely, it can be going anywhere because no one has read the document. The senators are crying foul, but it was passed because the Democrats were able to push it through without a reading. So we have no concept of what's in there. Virtually, because of the corporation, the way they dictate it right now in secrecy, non-transparent, they literally could be saying, we're now a dictatorship. Literally, they could do that. Who knows? But with regard to safety on the QFS, that's a whole different story. The QFS is a full disclosure, full transparent, and source of funds, use of funds. So basically, it's oil, gas, and water. They cannot mix and survive. They have to be separate. And I'm not concerned about, literally, I'm not concerned about Russia going off the SWIFT system because the petrodollar mark is literally Saudi Arabia and UAE. When they go off the system, the SWIFT system, then you've got a problem with the Fed Reserve dollar and these petrodollars. Until that time, Russia was not really part of the petrodollar system. This was all built on the treasury being issued to Saudi Arabia and the UAE for oil and sitting at Chase.
Yeah, I'm definitely looking for this, though, to help collapse the petrodollar.
It won't. It will not. It won't.
You don't think more countries will say, hey, we don't need the U.S. dollar anymore because we can now buy oil from all of these other sources? Saudi Arabia is looking to start selling outside of the petrodollar as well.
If Saudi Arabia and the UAE sell off the SWIFT system, then you got to crunch. Then you got to crash. Until that time, you do not. Because they are not the petrodollar system. Russia has always sold off the system. But they are not housed in Chase with accounts where the money would go to Chase and they would issue a treasury. That is based upon Saudi and UAE and the grand oil contract with Iran.
A lot of people are confused. They're like, why is Iraq such a big piece of this global currency reset or the move to gold standard? I've had a number of people saying, why are they so stinking important?
It is not. It is not. According to Interpol, who have told me, and this was back in 2013 and 2016, Iraq is a total separate animal with regard to the reset for the gold-backed currency. They are not involved in any way, shape, or form. It's only the Dinarians who are pushing it as the idea that they're going to go. Well, let them go. They've been threatening this for a long time. Let them go. I know for a fact that they are not in the protocols of the gold treaty. The gold treaty states specifically, when they're ready to roll over, they come see me with the codes. I put the codes into the New Republic Treasury. That unlocks the gold bullion that unlocks the gold for the gold-backed currency of, 214 nations on a parity basis, and the derivatives go away. That has nothing to do with Iraq. Nothing.
Yeah, there's a lot of chatter about them possibly doing a what's called a near a nominal exchange rate, going to like $1.50, and basically to give them some stability. No, would not be gold back. No.
That's right.
Do you think there's
a difference?
Yeah, there's definitely a difference. Do you think it's a possibility that they could go there? In other words, they're tired of waiting for this gold treaty, and they might take that smaller value for now until it's time for the gold treaty?
If they want. When the gold treaty kicks in, if you have dinar of any sort, you can exchange it for the gold back. So it does not matter if they go to a fiat-backed or an internal gold-backed domestic dinar. It's just like Russia, it's just like China. Well, the gold-backed yuan, the gold-backed ruble has no bearing whatever on the reset with the gold treaty.
That's actually, to me, a little bit reassuring. Anyways, it is to me. Let's see. I'm still trying to do some work in here. Let's see if we trade fiat for fiat. I'm waiting. Yeah, I know. I'm definitely waiting for real money as well. The fiat system is what has ruined our world. Let's see, Mr. C, RV Iraq, will federal government restitution debt still be viable from the U.S. Department of Justice and convictions resulting from work done in Iraq? Many were convicted under Obama for political crimes. Not certain I understand that whole thing. How about you?
That's a political conviction more than anything else. That'll all be adjudicated. In fact, I'll go away because, again, we're going to go to a different court system.
All right. Somebody asking, is there like a sign we should be looking for? Is there something you're looking for? Or are you just looking for them to come knock on your door with the laptops and make it happen?
I equate this to those over the centuries who have said, I know the date when Christ is going to show. And they end up being totally wrong or totally dead because they missed the date. There is no sign. That's the whole point of this. When the Golden Dragon believes that the funds put into the system and the gold-backed currency released is going to be safe, that they will not nuke us out of existence, then that's when it's going to happen.
Behind the mic wants to know, do they keep you updated? Do they call you and tell you what's going on?
If they did, somebody would be dead.
Yeah. Possibly you or whoever did.
Since 1996-97, my voice has been chipped at the NSA, CIA. Every communication I have on any type of communication system is recorded by those agencies and now Interpol. And so there's no reason for anybody. We know at least 17 nations were listening to me for many, many years. There's no reason in God's green earth why someone would call me and tell me we're going to be there tomorrow, when somebody could be sitting outside my door with an AK-47 to shoot everybody who walks in the door. That's crazy.
Yeah, well, they had that just for security reasons. Not talking is, I totally understand why they keep you in the dark. It makes perfect sense to me. You're too easy to track. I guarantee you, no matter what phone he uses, it does not take the NSA long for their computers to decide that he is chatting. I know that I have contacts where I use different phones / burner phones and have somebody else do the talking because I know they're cute on my voice, especially if I'm talking if I've ever used it to talk to Mr. C.
Yeah, it's a live feed, I'll tell you. And sometimes we're in the middle of a sentence, they'll say, "Oh, sorry, you're not going to say anymore," or it'll ring an echo. That's the interesting thing. When it starts echoing, my wife gets very, very upset about that because we were talking personal stuff, and all of a sudden there's an echo on the line. she goes bananas.
Seriously, who can afford more than one phone? You would be amazed if you don't use them often how cheaply you can have an extra phone for like $20 a month, and it's worth it.
But this is something that people have a hard time with. No matter what type of communication there is, computer, phone, Skype, whatever, Zoom, whatever, they listen. There's no way, even, and this is Interpol, said they out-CIA the CIA on communication systems. They know exactly what everybody's saying at all times. It's a live feed, no matter what, especially for those of us who have been chipped. So it's crazy to try to, I got a new phone and I got a VPN, I can do this, that. It doesn't mean anything.
No, it doesn't. I saw somebody just say, thinks he's a secret agent. I don't think I'm a secret agent. I think I'm a normal citizen that has been targeted because of who I talk to and my belief structure by an overbearing, oppressive government. And then I love it when people are like, everybody's just paranoid. How many more folks like Snowden and Assange and how many more documents do you need to know about your government being exactly this, oppressive and overreaching, before you believe they're oppressive and overreaching? How many more of your friends do you need to see have their bank accounts canceled, their PayPal's canceled? How much more censorship do you need to see on your favorite video sites before you start believing that they are out of control and oppressive? I just had some people.
What you don't know right now is, since we went to this system, which happened under W with the Patriot Act, etc. Everybody on the internet or on your telephone has been listened to, and because that's a big ears. That's major satellite operations, big dishes around the world. Anytime you do an international call, they listen to every word. Anytime now with 5-star and 6-star, they're listening to you constantly. You don't have to be a secret agent to be listened to. They listen to everybody because everybody is a possible terrorist to them.
That's actually, I don't think it's because they believe everybody's a possible terrorist. I think that they use the whole terrorism thing's an excuse so that they can have their big brother state, so that they can listen to everything we do. Your phone calls, when you call your wife, when you call your son, when you call your best friend, it is being recorded. They're recording not some phone calls, but as we learned from Snowden, they're recording all phone calls. Now, whether or not they take the time to listen to it, computer will go back in and listen to some of them, not listen to some. And, in a year or two, when their servers are getting full, they didn't find anything on it. Certainly, it'll erase it and keep moving. But I love seeing people on the left say, yeah, but if you're not doing anything wrong, you have nothing to worry about. That's, to me, when they are invading your privacy, that's the same thing as saying, freedom of speech doesn't matter because you have nothing to say. It is such a piss poor argument, fundamentally, that it's laughable to even listen to them.
Yes, it is. Because today it's a whole different ballgame. Homing pigeons, that's probably a good idea.
I love that one. We may have to go to I'm gonna need somebody. Is anybody in here train homing pigeons? That's not a bad idea at all. 3-letter agencies, absolutely. I've had calls from the 3-letter agencies and people that work there saying, hey, this is what you said today. And following up, shaking down. I mean, it's real to me. I'm living it. Tita says Biden's live now. What do you think? Biden, today, the Chinese and the Russian governments are presenting what they consider their proof to a UN committee on the biolabs. Do you think there's anything to it? Not anything to it? You think it's going to come to anything?
Well, I believe the evidence they're going to present is real because they have the evidence. And we know the U.S. Embassy has been striking off, erasing as much as they can. But, Putin has the evidence. Whether it's going to go any further than that, I don't know. Because Agenda 21 came from the UN and the Rockefellers. So I don't think much is going to happen because of it. Just like the missing votes and all that stuff from 2020. However, it's going to be proof. But what's interesting to me is we had an Iraqi war based upon no evidence whatever that there was weapons of mass destruction in Iraq.
Oh, but we are still going to trust that same intelligence community was wrong on this one, on whatever they tell us. We're somehow going to trust them. Just like the left was screaming, they told us there were weapons of mass destruction, and they were like, they're so wrong, they're so corrupt. But then when they said there was Russian collusion, they bit it hook, line, and sinker because it fit what they wanted to be right. And that's what we have to be careful on both sides of this. We have to find out what's true, not what we want to be true.
Also, the Chernobyl reactor. I mean, how do we know there was not activity in Ukraine? Because remember, the Ukrainian government was set up by the Obama administration and financed by Obama and Biden.
They literally engineered a coup in Ukraine to change the leadership.
Which is why Putin called them Nazis, because they're there to create problems, to destroy, or to actually start a war. As I've said all along, if Bush Sr. cannot control you and own you, they will destroy you. They will kill you, or they will make sure that you wish you were dead. This is the same thing here. The biolabs are real. The nuclear weaponry that they were manufacturing is real. But whether you want to believe it or not, well, that's why the propaganda has gone up to a hyper speed, even on Fox. I can no longer listen to Fox because they are so sold on the idea that Putin is wrong, everybody else is right in destroying Putin. But how do we know that? There's not two sides of the story.
Oh, you're not allowed to have another side of the story.
That's right.
You're not allowed anytime you just have to look when they won't allow you to discuss something. You have to look at who won't allow you, and then ask yourself why.
Yep. Anyway, I'm not sure I answered the question, but I'll tell you what, I get a little blown away on this stuff because it's so. I understand these people who are very core because of what Leo taught me and various other people's. But I'll tell you, if people have to wake up and see that, yeah, there are no clothes on the emperor, man. They are lying straight out, right straight all the way. In fact, I believe that virtually everything we're hearing right now in major communication, that's newspaper, radio, TV, even on the computer, is a lie.
Yeah, somebody worried. What happens if they killed the messenger that was supposed to be coming to see you? There are backup plans after backup plans after backup plans. Mr. C, do we need to be worried if you choke on a chicken bone?
No, there's a backup to me too.
Yeah, I hate to feel like you're disposable like that and all. But...
Well, I mean, look at it this way. Since 2013, this is 2022. I mean, come on. What are the odds I'm going to continue surviving? Oh, Lord.
On the positive side, we are seeing an easing in the spiking of gas prices. They only went up 6 or 7 cents, I think it was, overnight instead of their normal, 10, 15 cents overnight. But since we now know, based on the Biden administration, that it's a free market and politics have absolutely nothing to do with fuel prices, what are your thoughts on that one?
Right now, there is no such thing as a free market. The market is controlled, and it's a rigged table. So I just can't see it. I get a kick out of these energy supplier companies that call, and I ask them if they're regulated by the PUC. In Pennsylvania, PUC regulates all utility companies. And they say, well, no, we're a marketing company. We supply X, Y, and Z. And I say, well, if you're not regulated by the PUC and how you charge rates, it's a scam. It's a Enron scam. And I start hanging up on them. It gets their guts sometimes. They come back at me and I say, you're a scam artist. Don't call me.
I'm enjoying some of these questions. All right. I don't know which one of these to ask first. Rick asks the whole, and so many folks are new to it, so they don't have your take on the Kim Gogan or Kim Incredible or whatever that's going to save the world and has all the money.
Yeah, Kim. I'll tell you, if all hat and no cattle applies, it applies to Kim. She's been telling us for 10 years that she's got the answer to the world, but for some reason the world says go fly a kite. Yeah, I saw some reference to the fact that she was talking to Fulford, and Fulford she's telling Fulford that Trump was making all these millions and billions or whatever on these rallies. That's crazy, but and that goes back to Fulford, too. I mean, Fulford writes what he's told to write, and that comes from Interpol. So his latest one is probably more accurate than anybody wants to think about, which I recommend you go to look at it. Take a grain of salt, no problem, but take a look at it. It's very interesting. But Kim, all hot air, no facts. If she had something that was real, she would have presented it. But what she does present is that she has this massive communication system set up with the gray people on some planet somewhere. And I'll tell you, when people start talking like that and they have nothing to back it up, Looney Tune land, here we go.
I had a great one. The Neve family were asking, all right, and we've not done this one in a while. Although I'm going to throw you a curve for just a second because I saw Cindy's comment, waiting for my 21% raise on Social Security so I can afford gas too. Because the government just got that massive raise. Because of the raising costs and inflation. But they only gave all of the folks on disability, Social Security, veterans, they only gave you guys a little under 5%, but they gave themselves 21%, just in case you want to know where you fit in that one. All right, Neve family. how do the Bushes all fit in this? It's been a while since you dove into any of that history, and I don't know. I mean, we look at the Delmar, your timber trust, all that, Delmarva, and the theft there. Where, at what point did you get approached and said, "Hey, come on board. We want your help"?
Okay, I had a partner in my broker-dealer security, Niagara Securities Inc., which I filed for, went through all the exams, everything, and became the NYSE NEST securities broker-dealer. And I brought in a minority partner from South Carolina who was playing with the Bush guys, and it was in 1990. We went to New York for 30 days in November 1990 and met all the spooks. That's a whole story in and of itself. But anyway, that was the time of the Kuwait revaluation. And I put out a ton of contracts with my signature, etc., under my other company, Pennsylvania Investments. Well, it turns out those contracts were really picked up by guys, including my partner, who worked for Bush Sr., and they were sold hook, line, and sinker to make all this money. But they needed an outlet because BCCI was on its way out. It went out in 1991, July 4th, 5th, and Bush was not recognized as a honest broker entity anymore around the world. So that's why he had trouble with Kuwait. So anyway, what they did is in late 1990 and early 1991, they stole my companies, they stole my signature, they stole everything. Because I told Bush Sr. to take his job, because they wanted me to work for him, to take it and shove it up his butt. In very, very clear, very, very straight answer. And I know he was on the phone because my partner was in the Houstonian down in Houston, and Bush Sr. was on the phone from the White House. It was on a conference call, and I told him to shove it. There's no way I'm not going to work for Bush Sr. Well, that was that. So I became persona non grata with the Bushes, and I became enemy number one. But they took over my companies, and they made me a star around the world, which I didn't know about. In fact, I never heard about it until Interpol called me in November of 2011 and advised me that Bush Sr. had stolen G7 money, all the G7 money in 2007, had amassed it in an account hidden under NATO-ACO, which is the highest of accounts by NATO, under the military, under the name of Michael C. Cottrell, controlled by Bush Sr. $300 trillion. And when Interpol finally found it, and they tried to return it that November of 2011, Bush and Bill Clinton stole it again when it hit Chase Bank. They redirected it again. So at that point, they told me, you're going to get all this money, all this earnings, no taxes, blah, 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 all this stuff. And they told me what's going on. Well, I became the poster child of what could happen to you if you came up against the Bushes, and obviously the Clintons, but the Bushes. So are they involved in this? Absolutely. Bush Sr. was the master spider. He controlled Biden until he died. He controlled Hillary and Bill until he died. He controlled all these people. And a lot of these people include Lindsey Graham, the Arizona senator that died. I'm trying to think of his name offhand real quick. McCain. I mean, he bought everybody. And when he was DCI, he was deputy, he was DCI of the CIA. He ran the CIA, deputy director. He extorted, killed, or maneuvered people into accepting bribes, etc., for this operation, which we now call the deep state. He created that with the help of Rothschild's money and with his. And his goal was to become the richest man in the world, which he did. So it's very interesting. Yeah, Bushes were involved. They still are involved to some extent, but primarily the deep state has expanded. The Clinton Foundation, very much so. And I can go through a whole listing, as you know, Mark, of my background and all that stuff, but they were very, very much involved. Very, very much involved.
Oh, yeah, no, I enjoy that one, which might be fun to dive into. What I am seeing over here, once I bounce back, and I didn't see this until I moved into check while you were on that last one, I started looking at some of the chat to see what the algorithm was removing. Any mention of BIT, and then like, nickels, dimes, coin. Hopefully I talked around that one, because I'm assuming at this point that is a trigger, because it is triggering the Autobots left and right. It is removing it. They are, as they move towards some kind of central bank digital currency, they're terrified of people discussing anything crypto right now. They closed down Bitcoin ATMs across the UK today. They are terrified of money running. I think they know that there is a fiat crunch coming, and they want to control where it goes, or if it goes at all. Do you think that matters at all?
Oh, yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, Juno was only one of the many, and the algorithm just started ripping folks out. That is just crazy. I went back through that log, and I'm like, holy smoke. The censors, guys, is just emptying people out right now. Thomas Williams, I agree with you, but they definitely held you for review too. This is crazy as I'm watching what the algorithm is doing to people right now. But if you're spreading hate against us, it has no problem with you. If you ever want to know that things are absolutely coordinated, this is something.
It's fascinating. They have their own ways of controlling you, and that's what's going on. I'm amazed I'm able to talk about what I just spoke about without them saying, no, you can't say that. But I guess that's path A now. It's gone. Bush Sr.'s dead, therefore it doesn't matter. But it's very, very relevant. I was asked yesterday. I played tennis yesterday. We couldn't play on Tuesday. And the owner of the tennis courts, building, we were talking about the Ukrainian scenario. And he says, "Are you a Bush man or they said, are you a Trump man or a Biden man?" And I said, "Well, Biden's going to get hung, not because of what he's doing right now, but because of what he did for Bush Sr. earlier." But I said, as far as being a Trump guy, it's the style that I'm looking for, not necessarily the man. It could be a bunch of different guys.
Well,
it's very interesting.
It is. I mean, like Green just said, the panic is real. That took out. I'm sitting here looking at what's being removed, and I am stunned. Somebody said something about, how they used to take care of bad guys in the Old West. They'd find a tree. Somebody mentioned that, but now if they would have mentioned using that, they're talking about using against these rats, these dirty, pedophile, whatever. But if you would have made that comment about Putin or somebody like that, it would have been perfectly acceptable. I've never seen YouTube this bad. I'm sitting here watching it. I could almost do a show just having a conversation like this, screen capturing what is happening to the chat as what they are doing to it. Wow, this is, man, I've not done this in a while where I go back and I look at it and I have the time. Mr. C, I am beyond shocked right now watching to see what they are doing to wow. It's unreal.
Terry has a good idea. Hang 'em High movie. We need a judge like that. In fact, I'm hoping that's what Gitmo comes down to. I put out something this morning about from Rose, what's that called? Rose Ramlin, about Sotomayor, who's supposedly being adjudicated right now and found guilty for taking bribes and committing treason. I mean, hang 'em high is the way it should be.
Here, check this one. All right. Thomas Williams said, "Just remember, those who are moving our freedoms of speech will pay with their souls when God calls them on the carpet." And, I had to approve that message because they somehow picked that out. Either their AI is that good or they have 50 people in here reading at one time to keep up with our chat. This is, wow.
They probably have an AI set up specifically for chats right now, targeting you. We know they don't like me, but I mean, sorry about that. You're now part of that circle.
A lot of people, I think, took the one with Iraq being. What he's saying is Iraq is not. It's not the linchpin for the gold treaty or reset. It's like, all right, you're taking your car to go to the grocery store. It's like one of the wheels on the car. It needs it to get there, but it's not the end thing. A lot of confusion on that one.
Correct.
Or I mean, it's a cog in the machine. I mean, it's another piston in the V8 kind of thing. But it's not the car.
Yeah, it's like I'm just a cog in the wheel. It's just a machine. I'm just a cog. It's not. I'm only. What shall I say? Important because I'm entering the codes and chosen specifically by the Golden Dragon. I'm entering the codes into the New Republic Treasury to release the locks on the gold bullion. That's all that I do. That's all I'm involved in.
We need to replace those words. I don't even know what the words are that trigger things anymore, and they change them at random. It's gotten to the points where it's absolutely nuts. It's just like Mr. C. I had one because when I had Bob Locke on, we discussed we actually discussed a lawsuit that was won by a former president, a recent former president, about things that happen, in the month that comes after October. Every so many years. And we actually discussed a factual article and a win, and that was enough to remove me. I mean, I don't even know what you can or can't discuss anymore. I mean, you can't even discuss fact.
What does that remind you of? I mean, we're too young to some degree because I was born in 1949, but that reminds you of what was going on in France and Italy during World War II with the Germans constantly trolling the streets to find out what you're listening to and what you're saying. It's the same thing. There's no difference. The Nazis out there are listening to what we're saying and are making sure that we can't say certain words. Now, the idiocy of all this is they think if they stop you from saying it, that you can't think it. I mean, that's crazy.
Oh, trust me, if they thought they could change your thinking, they would. And they do. I mean, they attempt it. It's mainstream media. I mean, just a fantastic one. If you guys haven't seen it, let's see. Roman Balmakov. Oh, I guess he's, even though he, is from the U.S. and grew up in the U.S. because of his last name, he's probably part of Putin's gang now. Facts Matter, March 9th. Documents show government paid 100 plus media outlets to advertise lollipops coinciding with positive stories. In other words, we need you. We will give you this money and we will overpay you grossly for the advertising. But we're going to need you to run a positive story on them. And that should be one of the biggest stories of the year on the press, but no, not even a blip.
Well, they're not going to turn the gun on themselves, so that's too bad, but they're not going to do that. Not until it's all over or close to it.
Yeah, let's see. It is crazy what we're going to here. Oh, man. All right. See if I've got some other great ones in here for folks. Harold wants to know if you'll just loan him the code so he can go put them in.
I would love to, but I don't have them. I would love to. God, I would have put them in a long time ago if I had them.
Olinda, if it's not stopped soon, will be in boxcars to re-education camps. Here's the scary thing.
Yeah.
Many of your neighbors would help them pack your bags for you.
That may be true, although locally here, I don't think so. Even the ones who were diehard Biden supporters during the election have changed their minds. It's very interesting to me.
I love this. Barbara, I agree with you. Said, I declare I am a free and sovereign child of God. Amen. I think everybody needs to take a moment, look in the mirror, and do that on occasion. You do not belong to anybody. You are not their property. You are a free thinking person. There is no court in the world that has the right to give you away or decide who owns you. There is no flag that can be flown. There is no, I mean, short of the lamb's blood, that's the only thing that can mark you as far as I'm concerned. It's absolutely nuts that people even think that they would like try to use that lie to say that they own you because they filed something in a court, or just nuts. Unless they rolled up to heaven, sat at the feet of God, and filed there, I'm not buying it.
Right. Someone just mentioned about Taiwan, to clean up Taiwan. What a lot of people do not understand, or for some reason don't know, the goal that we're talking about, that does the reset, that does the gold treaty, comes from the families of the generals who came over from mainland China with Chiang Kai-shek. And that's what we're going to be using to make this thing happen. And if you check with Social Fall today, they have an article at the very bottom. They confirm, and it's very interesting, there's a confirmation that the gold treaty has real gold behind it. To me, it's very interesting. But I'm not quite sure about cleaning up Taiwan, because Taiwan is where this is centered from. And that's why mainland China wants to take over Taiwan. But that's a recognized republic that I'm not quite sure I don't see a reason why we have to clean it up. Their goal, Taiwan, is to reunite with mainland China, but under a quasi-democracy or a full democracy if they can get it, which goes back to 1911 to Sun Yat-sen. That's part of what I'm writing about with the book. Is the first chapter is going back with the history of how China started off with this whole idea of a republic, and how it has ended up where we are today. It's very interesting.
I think I need it, or at least to read it. I have just noticed time. We're starting to get towards the end of. Would you like? What would you like to comment? Anything you want to mention to wrap up? I know we could probably go for hours. And this one this really has been a good one in my opinion.
We could go for hours. Actually, we have so many different topic areas that we could go down to, the rabbit holes we could go into. It's amazing. 45 minutes is always never long enough when we get started. But all I would like to say is thank you for the opportunity. I do appreciate it. I'm hoping that we educate the listeners to the point where they question, to the point where they want to learn more about what has happened and how we got here. And, hey, I hope this thing happens tonight or tomorrow. That would be fantastic. But if, the way I look at it is we go day by day, and I shall see you next Friday.
Sounds like a plan. I'll see you next Friday. I will actually be joining you from Puerto Rico next week. Got to be there for a business trip. I'm gonna work the whole time. The only podcast I'm gonna miss is Thursday morning, and at this point, I'm planning on recording one Wednesday night to play with any of the latest. But ought to be different. That's for certain.
Well, that's great. Have fun, and we'll talk to you on Friday.
Sounds good. Take care.
You too. Bye.
All right, guys. Enjoyable for me. That is for certain. Keep. It's not over till Mark sings. I guess that's the fat lady is getting ready to sing. All right, birthday folks. Who all do we have? Of course, Kukla's mom. Who else? Busy Biz. Let's do this one. Some of these comments over there. The Roaring Scribe, they have dropped all requirements for flying back and forth to Puerto Rico, except for the masks on the plane. You don't have to have a negative test. You don't have to have a lollipop. You don't have to have any of that. Of course, the Biden administration renewing the whole TSA mask thing was a bit of a joke after the overwhelming amount of evidence that has dropped in studies this past week. But hey, they love doubling down on stupid. But it looks like they're going to remove the mask on public transit April 18th. Looks like April 18th this year that will go away. Scott from Delaware, 47, starts singing opera. There you go. Wish she could. Her mother passed this year, guys. Kukla's mother passed this year, and that's why it's a tough one for her, because she is celebrating that first birthday. So it's one of those reminders and a tough one, especially that first year. Biz, absolutely, come on. I could use that help. Happy birthday, Deborah. There you go on the 11th. So they tell me it's your birthday. Well, happy birthday, darling. May you live, may you love. May all your dreams come true. Happy birthday, happy birthday, happy birthday to you. And Scott, even to you, darling. Wait, man named Scott? I mean, a woman named Scott? However that works. All right, you guys take care. See you at 7 this evening.